Those particular small buses are circulating in those small neighborhoods. And we're using the big buses to do exactly what you're talking about, and that's to make the service faster and more direct on your main corridors. And so all that came out of the customers' desires for faster service and more personal, customized service in their neighborhood. So I think it's the right model that we're headed in.
And JTA is listening.
We are listening.
Okay. And speaking of routes, if you were expecting your bus route to change in December, you can exhale. The plan changes have now been moved back to March to allow for riders to adjust to the fare collection system. There's a saying that goes, to know where you're going, you must first know where you've been. Well, here at JTA and Making Moves, we've decided to take that to heart. With the help of the Jacksonville Historical Society, we'll be glancing back into our history to learn more about how transportation in Jacksonville has progressed throughout the years. Our first look back, streetcars.
Well, ironically, it was someone as a known railroader who helped start the streetcars in Jacksonville. That's Henry Plant. And then the first streetcar ran in Jacksonville in 1880. Citizens could take it for a nickel. There were only about 7,500 citizens at the time in the city. And then, of course, how were they fueled? Well, they were fueled by mules and horses, affectionately known to the town's citizens as the hay burners. 13 years later, in 1893, this first streetcar was electrified, and within 2 years, all the streetcars were electrified. This was so effective, they ran one all the way out to Ortega. And then the end of an era. In 1936, the last streetcar ran, and buses took over because, of course, buses didn't rely on tracks.
Still to come on Making Moves, it's one of the biggest promotional events of the year. Making Moves hits the Black Expo. That's next.
Are you heading down the road to foreclosure, not sure what to do next? Don't worry, all is not lost. You may still be able to save your home, but you have to act now. Here's some important tips from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. First, don't ignore the problem. Contact your lender immediately and know your rights. Read and understand your mortgage documents and learn about your state's foreclosure laws. Do your research. Know your foreclosure options, including loss mitigation. Don't pay for foreclosure advice. It's readily available for free from your lender or calling a HUD-approved housing counselor. Prioritize your spending. Look for ways to cut expenses. And watch out for foreclosure recovery scams and companies claiming they can stop your foreclosure immediately. Whatever you do, don't sign any legal documents without checking with a trusted professional. Still unsure about where to start? Call this number and speak with a HUD-approved housing counselor today. Owning a home is still the American dream, and we're here to keep that dream alive.
In 2012, everything will change. It will be unlike anything you've experienced before. And we're just getting started. Star, coming to Jacksonville, January 2012. Making Moves wants to hear from you. We want to hear your JTA story. We want to hear how JTA has affected your life. Maybe you're the Mayport teacher who sat in rush hour traffic for an hour each way every day for years until JTA planned and built the Wonderwood Connector. Now she's home in about 10 minutes, and instead of sitting in traffic, she's spending quality time with her family. Or the Southside area worker who saves 45 minutes per trip by taking the Dames Point Bridge to his job at the airport instead of traveling through downtown. Or perhaps you rode JTA to college and were the first in your family to get a degree, and now have a great job thanks in part to JTA. There are thousands of JTA stories out there. We want to hear yours. Email us your story at makingmovestv@jtafla.com.
I want a good career, and I know that Florida Coast Career Tech is going to help me find it.
I'm confident that I will find a great job after completing the program.
I've spoken with a lot of employers. Many of them will contact me prior to advertising for a position.
I hire Florida Coast Career Tech graduates because they're prepared with the skills that we need from day one.
I was so amazed how ready I was once I got hired. The training was identical to what I do every day. You can't get that training anywhere else.
There are many ways you can get from point A to point B. We'd like you to consider ours.
Welcome back to Making Moves. It's a place to see and be seen. All kinds of businesses and vendors in one place. Each October, thousands of people flock to the Prime Osborne Convention Center for the annual Black Expo. JTA was well represented. Expo visitors who stopped by one of the 3 JTA booths got to learn more about the new Star Card or to find out how JTA can help their minority-owned business. The Making Moves team was also on hand to talk about our show with our viewers and even to promote our new season. And I was just impressed by the crowd again. The crowd is always huge and phenomenal.
Yeah, it was electric, Joyce. It was just a lot of people had a lot of interest in what we were doing. And you know, the JTA, Joyce, has a pretty strong track record in terms of creating minority business opportunities, and it's really been great in the past years, and we're looking for even greater things to come this year, even in this down economy. So I think we've got a lot of input from the persons attending the expo and want to know about all the different business opportunities that we're going to be offering, and so I thought it was a good exchange.
Absolutely, it was. And time now for some final thoughts with Michael Blaylock.
Joyce, you know, I'm being asked what happens next beyond Better Jacksonville. And the Better Jacksonville program was an extraordinary program between the city of Jacksonville and the JTA. And that combined effort, along with support from the FDOT, Florida Department of Transportation, the Jacksonville Electrical Authorities, a great effort in a community of delivering some fine projects. Today we're enjoying a new baseball stadium, miles of new roadways, sidewalks, number of intersection improvements, a public library that we're all enjoying, regional libraries, and the list goes on and on, that we have advanced a number of projects that would have normally taken about 20 years to build. But this community came together in one single vision and delivered an extraordinary program for this community. So what happens next? Well, I would dare you to think that you should stop planning for your future, because the future is inevitable. So no, we do not have any major highway congestion problems or capacity problems, but we do have a number of choke points around this community. So we're going to start looking at the future in terms of how we clear up those choke points, such as the I-95 and Butler Boulevard corridor, such as the Blandon Boulevard and a number of intersections where we've seen a number of congestion problems along Atlantic Boulevard. And now we have an emerging transportation system, a public transit system, where we're seeing over 1 million riders a month using that entire system. So even though the economy is slow and sluggish, but one of the legendary factors of the JTA has been to look to the future. So what happens next is that we have to continue to think about the expansion of the port facilities, the improvement of CISA Field, and a number of major developments that will occur in this region. And we have to think regionally in terms of our future. So yes, we'll buckle down and we'll tighten up different intersections and make some improvements as we go. We'll continue to put projects in the pipeline to be ready when construction dollars are available, but we got to keep our eyes on the future.
And that wraps up this edition of Making Moves. Thanks so much for joining us for our Season 4 premiere. We hope you'll be joining us again real soon. Now, if you missed any part of the show or you just want to watch it again, complete episodes of the Making Moves shows are always available online at jtafla.com. And of course, make sure to stay in touch with us on Facebook. For the entire Making Moves team, I'm Joyce Morgan Danford, and we'll see you the next time we're making moves. Coming up next on Making Moves, JTA plans a new transit fare structure. We'll break down all the changes. Local students help JTA reach its highest ridership in 3 decades. And there's a new man in charge at JTA. We'll introduce you to the authority's new chairman. I'm Joyce Morgan Danford. Stay tuned for those stories and much more next on Making Moves.
In 2012, everything will change. It will be unlike anything you've experienced before. And we're just getting started. Star, coming to Jacksonville, January 2012.
Welcome to the Season 4 premiere of Making Moves. I'm Joyce Morgan Danford alongside JTA Executive Director and CEO Michael Blaylock. And as you can see, we are here in Studio 1V, our new home for this brand new season. And Michael, there's so much ahead for JTA in the coming months. And of course, we'll have it for our viewers, as we always do, right here on Making Moves.
Well, George, this is a great set, and I am really excited about the new season, and I'm really happy about the fact that we had over 500,000 viewers tune in to watch this show. So it's very important to us that they get to see exactly what we do as an organization, as an agency. So whether you're riding the buses or using the road network, we're here.
That's right, and it's only going to get bigger and better every year. So let's get right to it. It's hard to find a transit agency that has raised its prices only 3 times during a 30-year span. But that's exactly what the JTA has done. Now the agency, which currently has the lowest rates of any major transit agency in the Southeast, is asking most of its customers to pay 50 cents more for a ride. Making Moves' Bill Milnes breaks down the JTA new fare.
In the past 30 years, the JTA has only raised its bus fares 3 times. In 1982, fares went up a dime from 50 to 60 cents. The JTA then kept fares at that price for 16 years, before finally increasing the fare to 75 cents. It was then nearly a decade before the authority asked riders to dig a little deeper to ride the bus. That's when fares increased to the dollar passengers pay now. But while other transit agencies in Florida are charging upwards of $2 a ride, the JTA is proposing a new fare of only $1.50 a ride. Chief Financial Officer Blair Fishburne says while it's not the ideal situation to raise fares in this down economy, the economy is precisely why JTA must take this action now.
We have a lot of financial pressures, although we've reduced our operating costs as much as $10 million over the past couple of years. Our fuel costs are rising, labor costs are constantly going up, and we've absorbed operating losses the last couple of years, so we really need to get some more revenue to keep the service in place that we can offer the customers.
If approved by the JTA Board of Directors, the proposed increases will not affect 2 key demographics: senior citizens or students. Most other transit agencies across the country charge senior citizens half fare to ride. But here in Jacksonville, fares for all seniors ages 60 and over would remain exactly where they are right now, free. Student fares would also remain at the current level, $30 a month.
For the students, first of all, we've really started carrying a lot more of the magnet school students whose transportation was cut out when the state reduced the education funding budget in the city. And for the seniors are a lot of them are on fixed income, so we're trying not to increase the economic burden on them as well.
Fishburne says new technology being launched by JTA in January will help provide better service for the riders.
The new system isn't calendar bound the way the current system is, where it's programmed to the calendar months, so to speak, for the volume rides and weekly passes as well. But with the STAR system, the new card, we have a lot more flexibility in programming. We can have a 1 day. We're introducing a 1 day, 3 day, 7 day, and 31 day unlimited ride fares, so that that's really where the value is for the customers.
In Jacksonville, Bill Milnes, JTA, Making Moves.
And here's a list of the upcoming meetings where you can give your comments on the fare changes. The JTA board will vote on the changes December 8th. Well, we are back with JTA Executive Director and CEO Michael Blaylock. You know, Michael, it's always very difficult to tell your customers that you're going to raise rates. But think of it. On average, JTA has really only raised its fares once every 10 years. I mean, 30 years?
Yeah, and it's still a great value, Joyce. The good news is that our senior citizens, 60 years of age and older, will be able to ride for free. And our youth, which is a surging market for us, will continue to be able to access their passes at $30 a month. So, I mean, it's a great value for our frequent riders. We have a value pass that will be available to them. So overall, I think we offer a very good product.
Okay. As you just heard, some new technological advances coming to JTA in January will provide customers with more options. One of those is the STAR card that we've been telling you about for the past few months. JTA staffers have been appearing all over town, letting people know that the STAR card is on the way and how it will work.
I think that's an excellent idea because you won't have to have any money. I just think it's more convenient.
The STAR card is a smart card that allows JTA to fine-tune all of the payment options that it offers its customers. Here's a closer look at what we mean. Currently, when a customer buys a monthly pass, it's only good that one particular month, no matter when it's purchased. So depending on when you buy the card, your usage will be limited. With the purchase, though, of a 31-day STAR card, riders will get a full 31 days of usage that doesn't activate until the card is first used. So the user has much more discretion on how they will want to use the card. JTA will also offer an unlimited ride, 1-day pass, and weekender pass, good for unlimited rides on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And on our next show, we'll give you an up-close look at the new transit vending machines that are also part of the STAR program. You know, you just started rolling out this STAR campaign, but have you already gotten some feedback?
Yeah, Joyce, we actually got some very good feedback. The customers like the idea of having more flexibility in their ability to pay different fares for different media. So that's a good thing for us. And we're also getting some pretty positive comments about the seniors still able to ride for free under the new fare structure.
Oh, I bet.
So I mean, we're getting all kinds of feedback. But I think the good news is that the public really enjoys going to this new technology.
And I'm looking forward to the vending machines.
Well, it's about time.
Well, in other news, the JTA Board of Directors has a new chairman. Developer Ed Burr has been nominated by his fellow board members to take over the key leadership role of the JTA. Burr had been the board's vice chairman. Outgoing chairman Michael Cavendish announced that he will be stepping down from the board as soon as the governor names his replacement. And let's talk about Mr. Cavendish for just a moment. What a guy. He's so energetic. He brings a whole nother dynamic element to your board.
Yeah, and he really had a very strong belief for public outreach. And under his leadership, I mean, we must have hosted over 100 different public outreach meetings for different degrees. A lot of enthusiasm, very positive, very customer oriented. So I'm going to miss Chairman Cavendish, but he's done a tremendous job.
Yes, absolutely. But you know what? Quite frankly, you have had very talented board members, you know, over this term. And let's talk about Mr. Burr. He's coming in. He's a talented and highly regarded developer and businessman. He's been reappointed for 4 years. And so what can you tell us about him taking over as chairman?
Well, you know, it's interesting because we're in the midst of evaluating and updating our strategic plan for the agency. So it's an opportunity for us to step back and look at exactly the direction of where we're going as an organization. I think Mr. Burr brings a tremendous amount of insight in terms of looking at our business model, our execution model. So I think he understands return on investments and bottom line. So I think all that's going to be really helpful in terms of creating and forging ahead with respect to our new strategic plan.
Still to come on Making Moves, JTA ridership hits record levels. Find out who's behind the increase. And then later, the Making Moves team joins the thousands at Black Expo. More of Making Moves Season 4 premiere when we come back.
This is the 4th month in a row our sales have been flat. We've got to find a way to reach some new customers.
Hey, I have an idea.
We've tried everything. Newspaper ads, flyers, radio. Nothing seems to be working. I just don't know what we're going to do.
Hey, wait, I have an idea.
We have a great business. There's just got to be a way to reach more customers.
Listen, I have an idea. What about JTA?
The bus people? How can they help us reach more customers?
Think about it. Our ads on the side of buses driving all over the city. Or maybe one of their new fancy bus shelters. They even have their own television show called Making Moves. We could run ads on the show. We would reach thousands of people.
Now that's a great idea.
Let JTA help you connect with your customers. We have transit advertising options for nearly every budget. Call our corporate sales office at 630-3109 and let us put together a great package for you. Get creative. Advertise the JTA way.
In 2012, everything will change. It will be unlike anything you've experienced before. And we're just getting started. Star, coming to Jacksonville, January 2012.
We live in a global community where information can be delivered instantly. But having access to information and getting accurate information don't necessarily go hand in hand. That's where we come in. We are Making Moves, the First Coast's premier source for transportation news. At Making Moves, we strive to deliver timely, reliable, and pertinent information about the transportation stories that affect our community. From transit to roads, we've got it covered. Making Moves, now on Facebook.
You're watching JTA Making Moves, honored by the American Public Transportation Association with its 2011 Ad Wheel Award.
We told you that insurance rates for Florida businesses keep increasing, yet you'd hardly be surprised about hearing that. Yet JTA turned that tide and workers' compensation rates dropped more than 40%.
Well, in this economy, anytime that you can save dollars and reduce your expenses, it's a good thing. And we're looking at, I think it's approximately $275,000 in saved premium, which is a good chunk of money.
And Michael, what great news that is.
A 40% reduction, Joyce, that is tremendous. And kudos to the staff for, drumming the beat and making sure that our people are safe. So it's good news for us.
Absolutely. 1 million seems to be a magic number for JTA, as in more than 1 million passenger rides 2 months straight in August and September. JTA officials say it's been 30 years since they've seen that trend. Why? Well, part of the reason, some extra students who are making it more than just a ride home.
Since school started in August, hundreds of magnet school students have traded in their yellow school buses for JTA buses. Kirby Smith Middle School students Matthew Kordak and his buddy Gage Carter have been catching the CT1 after school. With all the new riders, the CT1 is often full, so Matthew and Gage walk just a little further to ensure that they get a seat on the busy bus. But once they get seated, the atmosphere is not much different than it was when they rode the school bus. They do what kids do, talk, listen to music on their iPods, and text their friends. In reality, with all the new and younger riders, many making their first trips on a city bus, JTA buses have become a social experiment of sorts. But these kids are also fully aware that this new ride is the result of a shortfall of school funding.
We were losing money and stuff, and we needed to cut something. So we didn't have to cut any sports, and instead we cut buses. At least we still get buses. No, it's not school buses. It's a mode of transportation, and we can get home using it.
Matthew's dad, Andy, says his family considered many factors before choosing JTA.
Once we got on and started riding the bus, which I had done in the past with my kids when they were little, we realized that it's a much better ride than the school buses, and there are adults on the bus, so you're not going to have any incidents with a school bus load of kids.
Now it's actually dropping me off at my neighborhood, like not in my neighborhood, but the street right in front of it.
Andy admits that they also felt the price was right, but he also says that this experience could help build independence in these young students.
You know, I think there are a lot of benefits that could, since I have teenagers and they're very social, they like to go to the beach, and they like to go to the mall, and they like to go to the movie theaters. Understanding how the public transportation works will be to their benefit, because they don't have to ask mom or dad for a ride, and they can just say, I'm going to go do this.
JTA officials say the influx of the extra magnet students, especially the large numbers from Kirby Smith and La Villa in particular, has made a big difference in ridership, pushing the totals to record numbers in August and September. Record as in more than 1 million passenger rides in 2 consecutive months, something transportation officials haven't seen here in 30 years.
Those two schools are two of the schools that have had a high ridership increase. We have also added additional buses to 2 of the routes that operate around those schools to help accommodate the high volume. So that has helped us in helping with the passengers, and so we can get them all out at a good time.
Increasing ridership can create an interesting dilemma for an agency like the JTA. Think of this, higher ridership means more demand for buses, but that also means a higher cost. Difficult to manage in these tough economic times, so how do you make that work, Mr. Balela?
Joyce, it's a balancing act. I mean, one of the things that we've tried to do is really engage in more public outreach, so we can design the service in such a way that the people will respond and ride. And so through those type of discussions and outreach, we've been able to trim a lot of inefficient routes to make it more conducive to where the people want to go when they want to go.
Okay, but with a city the size of Jacksonville, consider this. Would it be better to have fewer routes that cover less area? That means you have a little more frequency, maybe better service, or to change that, a little coverage for more areas and maybe not as frequent the service?
Well, Joyce, what our customers are telling us, and we're doing exactly that with the introduction of the neighborhood shuttle service.